Welcome in, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals as much as I did. So, today, what we're going to do is I'm going to give my reaction to the quarterfinals round, and after that, we're going to look forward to the semifinals round, and I'm going to give my prediction there as well. So, we got some good stuff to talk about in the quarterfinals. Specifically, we're going to talk about the four games. First game was France versus Morocco, second game was Spain versus Belgium. Then we had Norway go up against England, and the quarterfinals finished with Argentina facing Switzerland. So a lot of good games and a lot of good scoring as well. And in the semifinals round, we're going to talk about the two big games, France versus Spain and England versus Argentina. So this is why we watch the World Cup. The best games are here. So can't wait to talk about all of these games. Before we jump into all of that, I would like to mention that on my YouTube channel, I create content about sports, money, and personal topics with the goal of bringing value to your life. So if you find value in this video, I need you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. Also, hit that like button and make some comments on your reaction to the quarterfinals and your prediction to the semifinals. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. FIFA World Cup quarterfinals reaction and semifinals prediction. All right, guys, the first game we're going to talk about in the quarterfinals round is the matchup between France and Morocco. So this was a pretty highly anticipated game. Two very good teams going head to head. France, considered by a lot of people the best team in the world, versus Morocco, who is considered the best soccer country in Africa. And these two countries are not too far from each other geographically. So just a lot of build up in this game. We had Mbappe of France going up against Hakimi of Morocco, and it was a pretty good game. So this was on Thursday, July 9th, 2026, at Boston Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the New England Patriots of the NFL play. So good atmosphere for the soccer game. And France defeats Morocco 2-0. And really, France was just the better team the whole game. They dominated possession, and they just had a lot more opportunities than Morocco. And they move on to the semifinals to face Spain. So I was a little disappointed with this game, specifically with Morocco, just because I thought that Morocco would be more competitive in this game. I thought being the best soccer country in Africa and having Hakimi, that they would be able to give some trouble to France. But that really wasn't the case. France really cruised in this game, and they get the 2-0 win. So just a little match breakdown. First half penalty drama. France dominated early possession in the 28th minute. Muzrahi of Morocco brought down France captain Kylian Mbappe in the penalty box. Mbappe stepped up to take the spot kick, but Moroccan goalkeeper Bono made a stellar save to keep the game scoreless heading into halftime. So, huge, huge moment here in the game for France. But, some of these stars like Mbappe and Messi, both of them have missed penalties in this World Cup. So, a little disappointing there with the penalty takers, the big stars, and credit to the Moroccan goalkeeper Bono for the big save. So after that, France just kept on attacking. The breakthrough comes in the 60th minute. Mbappe redeemed himself, curling a brilliant shot from the edge of the box past Bono into the far corner. The goal marked his eighth of the tournament and the 20th World Cup goal of his career. So Mbappe was able to get a little revenge back on the Moroccan goalkeeper, and he gets that big goal in the 60th minute, and France is up 1-0. And just 6 minutes later, France really seals the victory in the 66th minute. Mbappe turned provider. He set up Dembele, who slotted a low finish into the bottom corner to make it 2-0. So one of the best players in the world, Mbappe, assists another one of the best players in the world, Dembele, and they really sealed the game there. So France is very, very fortunate to have these two superstars on their team, Mbappe and Dembele, and they're just probably the most dangerous duo of strikers in the world, and we saw that in this game for sure. And just a little injury concern. Mbappe was substituted out in the 77th minute with a slight limp and was seen on the bench with an ice pack on his right ankle. But he should be good to go for the next game versus Spain. I'm sure he's going to do whatever it takes to play in that game. So, just some key statistics from this game. We know final score was 2-0. As far as shots, France had 21, Morocco only 4 shots on target. France had 8, Morocco only had 1. Expected goals were 3.04 for France and only 0.14 for Morocco. So, with this victory, France has secured a spot in their third consecutive World Cup semifinal, and they will travel to Dallas to face Spain, as I mentioned earlier. So Spain or France just keeps rolling on. They're the defending World Cup champs, and they definitely looked like it so far in this tournament. Again, with Mbappe and Dembele as their strikers, they're just the most dangerous offensive team in the tournament, and I think they're going to be the favorite versus Spain. So, just as far as the Golden Boot battle, with his 60th minute curling strike, Kylian Mbappe tied Lionel Messi at the top of the 2026 World Cup scoring charts with 8 goals. However, Mbappe currently holds a tiebreaker advantage for the Golden Boot due to having 3 assists compared to Messi's 1. So, well, Messi has 2 now after yesterday's game. So, very, very good game. A little disappointing, just Morocco wasn't as competitive, but France gets the win 2-0, and they're on to the semi-finals. All right, guys, the second game we're going to jump into and talk about is the big, big game versus Spain and Belgium. And a lot of excitement going into this game. We had Lamine Yamal of Spain going up against Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku of Belgium. So a lot of star power in this game as well. And this game was definitely very exciting, a bit more exciting than the France and Morocco game for sure. So this game was on Friday, July 10th, 2026 at Los Angeles Stadium in Inglewood, California. This is where the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers of the NFL play. And this is probably the best stadium in the whole world, the largest stadium, the most expensive. So love watching these big soccer games at the Los Angeles Stadium, also known as SoFi Stadium. So the result again was 2-1. Spain beats Belgium. Very competitive game. And as I mentioned, Spain will face France in the semifinal round. So just a bit more specifics about the game. So the thrilling quarterfinal match was defined by tactical surprises, a resilient Belgian fight back, and late game goalkeeper heartbreak. So let's talk about the first half. So the first half had some surprise starters, and the Spain manager Luis de la Fuente made a surprising pre-match tactical alteration, starting Fabian Ruiz in midfield over Barcelona star Pedri. Meanwhile, Belgium suffered a catastrophic blow before kickoff when captain Yuri Telemans was ruled out due to an injury sustained during warm-ups. So very unfortunate for Belgium to have one of their best players get injured in warm-ups, and it was definitely a big blow, and they could have used them in the game. So the opening goal was in the 30th minute. Spain's tactical change paid immediate dividends. Dani Olmo unleashed a powerful strike that Belgian goalkeeper Courtois managed to repel, but Fabian Ruiz pounced perfectly on the loose rebound to slot home the opening goal. So that technical change that the manager of Spain made before the start of the game, putting in Fabian Ruiz, paid off shortly after, and he looks like a very smart manager after that. However, we do have an equalizer in the 41st minute. Belgium fought back effectively just before the interval. Legendary midfielder Kevin De Bruyne threaded an intuitive pass to Timothy Castaigne, whose precise cross found Charles de Ketelaere, and the Ketelaere craftily timed his run to stay onside and headed past Mike Mannion to make it 1-1. And this was the this was notably the first goal Spain conceded during the entire 2026 World Cup tournament. So going into this game, Spain has not conceded a single goal, and Belgium was able to bring an end to that streak and to that record, and they were able to get this goal and equalize the game at 1-1. We get to the second half. Spain firmly controlled the tactical flow of the second half, outshooting Belgium 16-5. However, the defining turning points of the match occurred in the final 20 minutes. In the 71st minute, Courtois, the goalie for Belgium, goes down in a massive blow to the Red Devils. Courtois suffered an apparent leg injury and had to be substituted off the field in tears. He was replaced by backup goalkeeper Lamens. And in the 88th minute, the winning goal, just as the match looked destined to go to extra time, substitute Mikel Merino emerged as Spain's hero once again, Teenage sensation Pau Kubarsi launched a stinging drive from long distance. Lamens failed to clean hold the ball, spilling the rebound directly into the path of Marino, who lashed the loose ball into the net to lock up the 2-1 victory. So this is the second time that Marino comes in as a substitute for Spain and gets a game-winning goal towards the end of the game to have his team move on in the tournament. So I think the manager for Spain looks really, really smart after this game. I mentioned the substitution before the game where he put in Ruiz instead of Pedri, and then he brings in Marino again in the second half, and Marino gets the game-winning goal. So very impressive decisions by the manager of Spain, and as a result, they get the win 2-1, and they are going to face France. And just a couple of thoughts on Lamine Yamal. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world, but he's not really having as good of a tournament as these other superstars like Messi, Mbappe, Harry Kane, who have 6, 7, 8 goals in the tournament. Um, Lamine Yamal is far behind them. So, not sure what's happening there, but maybe he'll come up big versus France in the next game. So, that's it for this game. The game that I was probably most excited about watching was the game between England and Norway. And the reason I was very excited about this game was I wanted to see if Norway and Holland, if they could match up well with the English, or if Norway was just kind of a bit lucky as far as getting this far in the tournament. Wanted to see Harry Kane of England, Jude Bellingham of England going up against Erling Haaland of Norway. So just for me personally, a lot of intrigue going into this game, and it was a really exciting game. So England ends up defeating Norway 2-1 in extra time. This game was on Saturday, July 11th, 2026, at Miami Stadium in Florida. So this is where the Miami Dolphins of the NFL play. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to play in this game just because it was very hot, but it was still a really good atmosphere. So the fiercely contested match unfolded under oppressive Miami humidity, marked by heavy tactical battles, disallowed goals, and Cablegate controversy. So let's just talk about the game itself. So the first half, the England manager looked to dominate early possession. Um, However, Norway sat comfortably in a compact 4-5-1 shape that effectively choked out passing lanes. So it was a really competitive game between the two countries. I think Norway held up their own in this game versus a world power of England. So the opening blow comes in the 36th minute against the run of early play. Norway captain Martin Odegaard combined with Andreas Schelderup on the flank, and Schelderup swept a looping cross shot that sailed over Jordan Pickford, clipping the inside of the far post to give Norway a 1-0 lead. So this was definitely one of the best goals I've seen in the tournament. He kicks it very hard in the upper right-hand corner of the goal. It clips the far post and ends up angling into the goal. So really, really impressive start by Norway, and I thought that they might have England on the ropes. But In extra time in the first half, the cable gate equalizer. Deep into the first half stoppage time, England struck back through a brilliant solo effort. Anthony Gordon cut inside from the left flank and found Jude Bellingham, who skipped past two Norwegian defenders to smash a low finish into the far corner, making it 1-1. So, Jude Bellingham, amazing game in this game. He ends up scoring both of the goals, and he and Harry Kane, extremely dangerous two strikers for England. They're very similar to Mbappe and Dembele for France. So great job by him. So just a controversy. The goal sparked immediate outrage from Norway boss and former players. Just before the goal, a hurried goal kick from the Norwegian goalkeeper dropped bizarrely straight out of the sky into the path of Elliot Anderson, with Norway arguing that the ball struck an overhead TV Skycam wire and that it should have been blown dead. FIFA's internal ball sensor data later indicated no contact was made. So a little controversy there. Norwegians thought the ball hit the wire and thus play should have stopped. And as a result, it eventually leads to a goal, but FIFA thinks otherwise. And we get to the second half. In the 56th minute, Norway thought they had restored their lead when they bundled a loose ball over the line from a corner kick. However, a lengthy VAR review disallowed the goal, ruling that Erling Haaland had pushed over one of the English defenders, and thus the goal did not count. So, big moment there in the game. And we get to extra time. It's 1-1. And early in the extra time, 93rd minute, England substitute Morgan Rogers unleashed a ferocious strike from the edge of the area. And the Norwegian goalkeeper, Nyland, he couldn't hold on to the ball. It bounced in front of him, and Jude Bellingham reacted quickest to the loose ball, sliding it into the net from close range to score his sixth goal of the tournament. And that seals the 2-1 victory for England. So just a really good game, specifically for Jude Bellingham. Up to this point, Harry Kane has been the main guy for England. He's in the race for the Golden Boot. But after this game and after the two goals by Jude Bellingham is also now a serious contender for the Golden Boot. And we'll see how that race ends. As a result, England advances to the semifinals and they will face Argentina. All right, and the final game of the quarterfinals round was a big matchup between Argentina and Switzerland. So a lot of excitement going into this game as well. Lionel Messi of Argentina versus Granit Xhaka of Switzerland. So big game here as well to see if Switzerland might be able to upset the Argentinians, but that wasn't the case. Argentina gets the win 3-1 over Switzerland in extra time, and they move on to the semifinals to face England. So this game was on Saturday, July 11th, 2026 at Kansas City Stadium, where the Kansas City Chiefs of the NFL play. So another really good atmosphere for a soccer game, and it was a good game for sure. So the game itself, in the first half, early set piece blow. So in the 10th minute, Argentina looked sharp early on and quickly won a corner. Lionel Messi swung a perfectly placed ball into the penalty area, and midfielder Alexis McAllister escaped his markers and executed a firm header past Swiss goalkeeper to give Argentina a 1-0 lead. So this was a really impressive goal. Very, very nice cross by Messi and McAllister in a very tight space with a defender also trying to head the ball. He's able to score a really nice goal and give Argentina a 1-0 lead. All right, in the second half, we have the equalizer in the 67th minute. Switzerland's relentless pressure paid off. Veteran defender Ricardo Rodriguez slipped a pass to Dan Ndoye, who managed to squeeze a sharp finish past Emiliano Martinez to shock the holders and tie the game at 1-1. So, a really nice goal by Switzerland, even though Argentina played better up to that point. Swiss did what they needed to do. They get a big goal and tie things up in the second half. We get to the 72nd minute and just a really awkward play and I think bad decision by the ref. Just 5 minutes later, the match completely turned on its head. The referee, Pinheiro, initially blew his whistle and brandished a yellow card to Argentina's Leandro Paredes for a tackle on Embolo. But after VAR review, the referee not only rescinded the booking of Paredes, but determined that Embolo had committed blatant simulation diving. Because Embolo was already carrying a caution, a yellow card, he was shown a second yellow and sent off with a red card, which left the Swiss to play with 10 men. So I think this was a really bad decision by the referee. Um, Initially, after the review, I think that was good that he took away the yellow card from Paredes of Argentina. But I just hate the fact that he gave a yellow to Embolo and thus ended up getting a red card with that second yellow. And it just really turned the game. The Swiss had to defend the rest of the game. And I just hate that these big games come down to decisions like that because I think if the Swiss had that extra player, that the game might have ended differently. So I think the referees should have some discretion. They should understand the moment, and I don't think he should have given him the second yellow card. And as a result, Swiss are able to survive into extra time in 1-1, but in the 112th minute, the stalemate was finally broken in a jaw dropping fashion, reaching deep into the second half of extra time. Julian Alvarez took control of the ball, roughly 25 yards out of left flank. He unleashed an incredible shot and scored an amazing goal to put Argentina up 2-1. And in the 121st minute, Lautaro Martinez was perfectly positioned to score. The ball was rebounded to him, and he was able to tap it in, making the final score 3-1 for Argentina. So another really impressive game by Argentina. In this one, Messi does not score, but all the other guys scored. And another drama-filled game for Argentina, but they're able to score goals in very, very tough moments at the end of the game in extra time. So really impressive game by Argentina. They look really, really dangerous. And Messi had that nice assist from the corner kick. So it will be Argentina versus England in the semifinals, and I cannot wait. Before we look forward to the semifinals round and before I make my predictions, I want to take a look at the Golden Boot race and just talk about that a little bit. So, the Golden Boot race, as we all know, is just basically the top scorer of the World Cup. And if there's a tie, then they take a look at the assists between those guys. So, right now, it's basically a four-man race. We have Lionel Messi of Argentina, Kylian Mbappe of France, Harry Kane of England, and Jude Bellingham of England as well. So right now, who's in the lead is Kylian Mbappe. He's got 8 goals and 3 assists. In second place is Lionel Messi, who has 8 goals and 2 assists. Number 3 was Erling Haaland, who has 7 goals in the World Cup tournament. But because his team has been eliminated, obviously he's not going to have additional opportunities to score in this World Cup. So he's not going to be able to catch Messi or Mbappe. But the other two contenders are Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham of England, who each have 6 goals and 1 assist. Um, the other player is Dembele of France, who's got 5 goals and 2 assists. So he's still in the running, but probably very unlikely that he's going to be able to catch up to these other guys, particularly Mbappe and Messi. So it's going to be amazing to watch these games, to see which one of these four guys ends up getting the Golden Boot. Again, Mbappe, 8 goals, 2 assists, or 3 assists. Lionel Messi, 8 goals, 2 assists. Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham both have 6 goals and 1 assist. So, and obviously, all four of these guys' teams and countries are still in the tournament. So, not only is it going to be amazing to watch which team wins these games and wins the World Cup, but the Golden Boot race is going to be just as exciting to watch who ends up with the trophy at the end. If I had to guess, I think Mbappe has looked the most impressive. So I think he's the favorite to win and who I expect to win the Golden Boot. But Messi obviously is right there, having an amazing tournament. And if the English go all the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham get it either. But it should be Mbappe, Messi right behind him. But we'll see if the two Englishmen can make things interesting at the very end. All right, guys, we have finally made it to the best part of the show, the part that I am most excited about. We're going to look at the semifinals round matchups. We're going to talk about the teams and we're going to make some predictions. So, as we all know by now, the 2026 FIFA World Cup semifinals feature a powerhouse lineup consisting entirely of the tournament's pre event top four favorites. Reaching the semifinals on Tuesday, July 14th, and Wednesday, July 15th are France, Spain, England, and Argentina, all whom remain undefeated in this year's tournament. So, this is really as good as we could have hoped for. Maybe it would have been nice to have an outsider in the semifinals, like maybe Norway, um, or somebody like that. But the top four seeds in the world, the top four countries in soccer in the world, they end up being the last four teams standing. And I am definitely not disappointed about that. And I think it's very impressive that all four of these teams are undefeated in this year's tournament. And I think this is one of the best World Cups that I've seen for sure. So let's talk about the first matchup. Semifinal number one is going to be France versus Spain, Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, at Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas. This is one of the best stadiums in the world, along with the stadium in Los Angeles. This is where the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL play. So this is just going to be a really nice and amazing atmosphere. It's going to be a indoor stadium, so should be packed and just an amazing overall experience. So the matchup, so this heavyweight fixture features the tournament's best attacking unit against its stingiest defense. France entered the semifinals having outscored their opponents 16 to 2, spearheaded by Golden Boot leader Kylian Mbappe. And conversely, Spain has outscored their opponents 11 to 1, only conceding their very first goal of the tournament during their 2-1 quarterfinal win over Belgium. So this is really, really going to be an interesting game. As I just mentioned, it's the best offensive team in the world, Kylian Mbappe, Dembele, and all of their other attackers, versus probably the best defensive team in the tournament, Spain, who, as we mentioned already, only has conceded one goal in the tournament so far. So we'll see which way it goes. Is the offensive power of France going to be too much for Spain's defense, or as they say in sports, defense wins championships? Is Spain's defense going to be able to keep French attackers under control? So must watch game. It's going to be Kylian Mbappe, Dembele versus Lamine Yamal of Spain. Cannot wait for this game. So Spain holds a severe psychological advantage, having eliminated France 2-1 in the Euro 2024 semifinals, followed by an epic 5-4 victory in the UEFA Nations League. However, even with that, France is flying high after their 2-0 win over Morocco, and they are the current favorite to lift the entire World Cup trophy. So specifically in this game, France is quite a bit of a more of a favorite than Spain is, and I think that's deserved. I think French offensive firepower is really, really dangerous. Spain, they haven't looked like the best team so far in this tournament. Um, their most impressive feature is their defense. So we'll see if that's going to hold up versus France. But amazing game. And for this game, I do believe, and my prediction is that France is going to beat Spain. I think the French are just a little bit better than the Spaniards. I expect a massive game by Mbappe, Dembele, and I think the French are just more physically imposing. I think they're more athletic than the Spaniards, and they've had a better tournament. So I can definitely see in this game France winning 2-0. Um, I think France scores first. I think maybe France also scores a second goal as well. And then at some point, Spain gets one goal. And maybe they make things interesting towards the very end where they try to tie things up, but France doesn't allow that. So I think France wins this game 2-1, and they move on to the final. All right, semifinal number two. England versus Argentina. Just another incredible matchup. This one is on Wednesday, July 15th, 2026, at Atlanta Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Atlanta Falcons of the NFL play. So, one of football's most bitter and historically Latin international rivalries reignites. England clawed their way into the Final Four after a grueling and controversial 2-1 win over Norway. And the defending champs, Argentina, likewise survived an exhausting 3-1 extra time clash against Switzerland. And this is just going to be an amazing game to watch. So, big stars in this game as well. Lionel Messi of Argentina versus Harry Kane of England. And this match marks the first time England will face Lionel Messi at a World Cup, while Argentina has shown immense vulnerability this tournament, needing extra time against Cape Verde, pulling off a miraculous late comeback against Egypt, and enduring chaos against Switzerland. Their tournament experience keeps them incredibly dangerous, and England has matched their 1966 historic record of 5 wins in a single World Cup and boasts a devastating dual threat in Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, who have combined for 12 of England's 13 goals. Yeah, so this game is going to be incredible. Argentina has looked a little bit vulnerable in this tournament. Um, they've let some teams stay around in games like I just mentioned versus Cape Verde, versus Egypt, and the Switzerland game was pretty tough. But I think they're very gritty. I think when they go down or when it's tough, they just produce. And I think they're battle tested from all these incredibly intense games that they went through. And I think Argentina is going to be very dangerous. But England has the two attackers, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. So I don't know. This one really is a toss up. England is slight favorites in this game over Argentina, but it's just hard to bet against Messi. So honestly, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if either team, won. But my prediction in this one is that Argentina will beat England. It's going to be a very tough game. I think it might be 1-1. And in the second half, Argentina gets a late goal. They go up 2-1 and win the game. So that's my prediction for this game. So I'm thinking that France beats Spain. I'm thinking that Argentina beats England. And that in the final, we have France versus Argentina, the last two World Cup winners. Argentina won last time in 2022. France won in 2018. So I think that's where we're headed. Clash of the two most recent World Cup champions. And we'll see what happens and if that does come to fruition. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to share as far as my reaction to the quarterfinals and my prediction to the semifinals. I really hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, again, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that like button, and make some comments as well. I'll see you guys next time, and take care.